Good evening. Welcome to the Acts Cast. This time we have some questions for Hunter, a discussion on the reduction of thought and the increase in technology. We rank some headlines from 5 Babylon Bee articles. We're going to have a trivia contest with a mug prize, and we will take your questions all on the Acts Cast. All right, welcome. If you guys have not yet said hello to each other in the comments, make sure you do that. That's one of the big reasons why we do this, is to have an opportunity to get together and just have some social interaction, even though we can't be together physically, and that's really hard. At least we can talk to each other, and so do that in the comments. If you're on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to our channel and click the little bell next to that so you get our notifications, so you know when we go live. Also, if you want to just click the thumbs up, if you get a chance, just go over and do that now. That helps the video be seen by more folks. And of course, feel free to share these videos with other folks, either from the church or your friends or whoever. If you enjoy them, maybe they will too. Give them an introduction kind of Acts Church and who we are and kind of our culture and our style. So if you get an opportunity to share these or our services or any of that kind of stuff, make sure you're doing that and keeping the church out there, putting us out to the world so that people can see and hear the gospel and see the kinds of things that we're doing. If you need to email us about anything, it's info@actschurchnw, like Northwest NW.org. info@actschurchnw.org. And of course, if you're new or we don't know you, let us know this is the first time you've watched one of our things by just saying, "I'm new," in the comments. That would be awesome, and people say hello to you. But also, if you want to see our website, it's Acts Church NW, NW like Northwest, actschurchnw.org. You'll find all kinds of information about our church, the missions work we do, the ministries that we have, volunteer opportunities, when we normally meet, when we are going to get back to meeting, when the services are, and also sermons and podcasts and all kinds of content and video and so on that you can get on there. So that's my little intro. How are you doing today, Hunter?
I'm doing pretty well.
What's that on your shirt there?
It's a little bit of spit up. I was feeding the baby before I came to work this morning, and she, burped in a little extra
something came out?
And I did not notice.
So what's the excuse for why you used to always have that on your shirts before?
Well, that was just,
your own
when I fall asleep.
Right. I got you. Okay. I got a couple questions for you, Hunter. These are going to be kind of would you rather questions. I have not told. Hunter really doesn't know much of what we're going to talk about tonight because I like to surprise him. I feel like we all get a better reaction from Hunter if he doesn't really know what's going on. So
great.
I got 3 questions for you. Here's the first one. We're going to start out easy with you.
Okay.
Would you rather have to own 1 cat or have to own 4 dogs?
It would depend on my living situation and my current living.
Let's assume that whatever the living situation is, it would handle either one of those things. So which would you rather have in your home living
4
with you?
dogs then.
4 dogs.
Yeah.
You'd rather have 4 dogs than a single cat?
Yeah, if I had room for them.
Wow.
Why would I want... You just said 4 good things or 1 not so good thing.
It's not a not so good thing. You need to
Sometime I'll try petting a cat and maybe then I'll understand.
Okay. Cats are pretty wonderful. For me, I would clearly, we have 2 dogs. They're, big, very busy
Fluffy
dogs. And, providentially for me, the Lord's provided me with a wonderful wife who has to do all the work, basically, with those dogs. The kids don't chip in like they should. I probably shouldn't start down this road. I'm going to get all worked up. Bottom line is the dogs have to do a lot of exercising. Tiffany's the one who ends up doing basically everything. I do love the dogs, but the cats, there's nothing. You do nothing.
Right.
They poop in a box. You clean the box out every once in a while. You put food and water out. They figure it out. You know what I mean?
But, to be fair, my dog's pretty much the same, except for that I have to exercise him. But
he poops in a box?
No, but he poops in the backyard and,
Then you got to go out there and clean it up.
But don't you have to clean up the box?
You just scoop it out, or else you just do it all in one thing and you just take it out. It's done.
Yeah, it's a little more work.
It's way more work to deal with a dog. The size, just size and odor differences between a dog and a cat are pretty significant. We probably should move on. All right, I'm going to give you the next one. Would you rather be able to play the piano excellently? I'm talking like Carnegie Hall.
Like I can.
Like you can, of course. Or speak Spanish fluently. Which one would you rather? Be able to speak Spanish perfectly, fluently, or be able to play the piano excellently, like concert pianist style?
It's really hard when you pitch 2 things that I already have.
Right, that's true.
I would take Spanish. I would take the Spanish speaking. because I just see a lot, like, yeah, it'd be cool to be able to play piano well, but speaking Spanish, you can speak to hundreds of millions of people all of a sudden.
That's
Probably,
true.
Probably billion. I don't know.
I doubt you'd get the opportunity, but yeah, sure.
But I mean, like it just like unlocks that ability. So
It would unlock the ability to speak to hundreds of course, you have the ability to speak to billions of people now that
I
speak
know,
English.
but, like, think about how
But you
many
don't
more.
speak to billions of people, so no,
Well-
I agree. I would also pick Spanish. It's more useful to me. It's more useful for ministry. It's more useful for, or at least for the ministry that I do, because I talk a lot. I don't play instruments a lot. So,
Yeah.
Jennifer McKeever says music is a global language.
Ooh.
She's always hitting us with the deep stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, dang, you're right. It is a global language. Although it's hard to communicate precise thoughts
Right,
with the
that's
piano. So, all right, last one. This one's going to be a little bit more spiritual. Would you rather the people in the church knew everything about your life? I mean, everything. Or nothing about your life? If you had to choose one or the other.
Me personally, nothing. Like that sounds great. I kind of like just being
Wonderful. You're such a relational guy. You know that? I wish no one even knew my name.
I just like if I could work all behind the scenes and like no one knew how all this stuff was happening and it was just happening, I'd be perfectly happy.
Most people don't know how all this stuff is happening. I barely know, and I'm here doing it all.
Which
so
means
frankly, you don't even know how all this stuff is happening from what I've seen. So the fact is that I'm not really talking about whether the church at large knows something. I'm talking about the people, the church being the people of the church. So basically, would you rather have no relationships in the church, or would you rather have the relationships you have, they actually know everything? There's nothing hidden.
well, when you put it that way, I guess I'll take the relationships.
You'd have them know everything.
Yeah.
So, because most people, I think, are in between that. They're like, I want people to know what I want them to know.
Yeah.
I don't want them to know, for instance, my sin that I don't really want to be called out on and whatever. But if the choice was, no, though they're going to know everything that goes on, there's nothing hidden, or they know nothing about you, have no relationship, which of course is not the choice. It's a false dichotomy, you know. But I'm just putting it out there.
That's the entire game.
As something to think about. Yeah, the entire game is that. But yeah, I would. I agree. I would rather they knew everything than knew nothing, for sure. Obviously, there's some level of privacy that you would want to have in your life, you know. But,
yeah, but I mean, I guess if you had to, you'd give it up. And I also think, I wonder if people knew everything bad about me and everything good about me, would they be like, I see how this all works together. I see how God is working in your life, and they would like have a lot more grace for you than if they just knew, like. You know, when you think about if someone knew everything about me, your brain goes to all of the things that you try to hide just by, you know, brushing your teeth every day. And
try to hide the fact that I don't brush my teeth every day.
right. And so I think if they also knew if they knew everything about you, I think they'd have a lot more grace and understanding and probably a really good relationship with you. So
I would think that the fear that we have of people knowing us fully, which is normally a fear that says if people really knew the real me, they would reject me, or they wouldn't like me, or they wouldn't accept me, or they wouldn't whatever. And it's true that there are people out there who are not going to accept you no matter what. They're just, that's just where they are, and that's their own issue. It's not your issue.
Right.
But I think that a lot of people would actually be more drawn to those who are more authentic about who they are and the way they're living and so on.
Right.
Okay. That was the questions I had.
Okay, cool.
That's all we've got. So let's just sit here for a while. No, I've got more. We have a topic for today.
Staring contest.
I've told you I've been sort of thinking about this, and I really don't have like a lesson to give. I'm just going to think out loud with you about this and what it might mean. I literally, I've got the thing to lay out the thing we're thinking about, but I don't have any answers.
Okay.
So we're just going to work through it.
What could go wrong?
And here it is. Here it is. Reducing of thought, the quality of thought, and increasing of technology. Here's what I mean by that. People, and I'm talking everybody, the world, the culture, the way that we're moving, we seem to be reducing the quality of our thoughts. In other words, being able to understand things that are complicated, that are important. And when I say that, I mean the things that people truly, truly care about: love and justice, and what the good looks like. Like what's good, what does God truly want, and what's good, and what should life look like as a community? All these kinds of things. We've gotten worse and worse and worse. And technology at the same time, there's been the opposite. Technology has been raising and raising and raising. So for instance, they've gone back and tried to figure out like what people's IQs were in the past.
Right.
And they assign very high IQs to people who lived thousands of years ago. They're just looking at their writings, looking at the things they've said. They're like, okay, this person's got an IQ of 200 and whatever, which is much higher than me or probably anybody we know, and they lived thousands of years ago. So IQ is not the issue, right? It's to suggest that people, we were talking about this earlier today, people will look back and talk about like the Dark Ages, or they'll talk about, this time, which is not, historically, as we talked about, that's not really how historians look at that time anymore.
Right.
But the point is, there's this idea that there was a time when people were dumb and a time when they were smart. And normally what they really mean is there was a time when people knew less facts about science and more facts about science, because it's unquestionable that people were not dumb. And I see this like argument with the Bible, as we were talking about earlier today, like, oh, the Bible was written by these primitive, Bronze Age, as if the Bible was written by cavemen.
Right.
When it's still, to this day, the finest piece of literature by itself, just sitting by itself, outside of like whether it came from God or not, which it did, but it's the greatest piece of literature on earth, and there is nothing that's come close to it.
Right.
But they'll talk about it like it was written by a bunch of dumb people. Well, people weren't dumb back then. Mm-hmm. In fact, I printed out 10 questions. This is the 8th grade final exam from 1895 in Salina, Kansas. Okay?
1895?
So Middle America, 1895, Salina, Kansas. If you were in 8th grade, these questions were on your final exam.
Okay.
All right. I'm not going to make you answer them. I'm going to read them. If you happen to know the answer, you can shout it out. But I'm going to read this out. Here it is. One of them. Name the parts of speech and define those that have no modifications. Are you even certain what that's asking?
I think I could take a stab at this one. But
Exactly. You could take a stab at it. How about this one? If a load of wheat weighs 3,942 pounds, what is it worth at 50 cents per bushel, deducting 1,050 pounds for tare?
If I had some paper and knew what a bushel or a tare
Knew
were.
what bushel was, and yeah. What is the cost of a square farm at $15 per acre, the distance around which is 640 rods?
Well, that means that it's going to be... Oh, no. It's so much harder than... that makes it, what, 1,600... Or, no, 160 rods, or I don't know.
You don't know, right. How about if I just gave you a map and told you to show me historically the territorial growth of the United States? When each state was entered into the Union, how it came, each purchase of property.
Does Louisiana purchase?
When was that? Exactly. Okay.
A while ago.
Name the events connected with the
Jefferson?
following dates, okay? You have to name the events connected with these dates. 1607, 1620, 1800, 1849, 1865. Can you at least give me that last one, 1865?
Repeat the question.
The events connected with those dates. What happened in 1865?
Wait, Lincoln was shot? I have no idea.
Civil War, right?
Okay, so I was
Okay, yeah.
right-ish.
Right, yeah. I think they would be just generally talking about that. Okay, what is meant by the following by the following? So you have to define these. Alphabetic, phonetic, orthography, etymology, syllabication. I'm just going to keep reading. What are the following and give examples of each? Trigraph, subvocals, diphthong, cognate, letters, linguals. Name all the republics of Europe and give a capital of each. Why is the Atlantic coast colder than the Pacific in the same latitude? Describe the movements of the earth. Give the inclination of the earth. Do you know the inclination of the earth?
27 degrees?
Well, you're close. 23.5 degrees.
Oh, okay.
That's the angle.
I could answer a few of those questions, actually.
My point is that we could, you could probably answer some of these.
Right.
But every 8th grader
But could
had
I
to
have an
know
8th grade?
these in 1895. They had to know all of this. If I gave this test to 8th graders today, or when I was in 8th grade, my guess is we could not have answered most of these questions. And so my point is just this. Not that people were smarter back then or are smarter now, but that that's not the case. In other words, people have been just as smart.
Right.
For as long as human, of course, as believers, we believe that because we believe all people are made in the image and likeness of God. So we've always had, the mind has been created by God, right? And of course, as believers, we have the mind of Christ, which is something even more significant than that. The point is that there is not a difference in how smart, our capability, okay? Mm-hmm. There's no difference in that. But there is a great difference in what we're using our brains for. And what I've seen is that we are not discovering a lot of new things about the most important things. Rather, we're kind of rejecting out some of the most important things simply because they're old and not because we have better ideas for them now.
Right.
Although I'm not saying no better explanations have come forward from new philosophers and so on, but they're explanations of ideas that we already had, just kind of put in a way that people can understand better. And certainly we've thought through problems, things like that. But we seem to be becoming more tribal, more committed to the idea that opinion is equal to fact, and that fact is basically what I say it is, without defining what that is. Right. We don't trust authorities anymore, largely because authorities have proven themselves to be untrustworthy on some things. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, they want to have the ability to speak on other things that maybe they really are an authority in, but because they walked over the line or have made too great of statements about things, we've trusted them less and less and less. And while we're doing this, technology is just shooting through the roof to the point where our children carry around what would have been called supercomputers not that long ago in their pockets. Right. And so we've rejected God's law and God's plan and God's value for human beings and our value of our own minds. And we've increasingly looked at education, which the Christian view of education is, hey, you've got a mind and you ought to be using it and you ought to be growing in your knowledge and in wisdom because God gave you this mind. That's how he created you. Now education is mostly a means to an end. Mm-hmm. It's practical. How is this going to, and it's largely like economically connected.
Right, yeah.
So it's like, how is this thing that I now have to pay a lot of money for to get this education, how is it connected to me making a certain amount of money, which is a reasonable thing to think.
Right.
But it's not the only thing that education has a value for. And so what is the deal? We've got this thing that seems to be moving. We care less and less about what's important. More and more we see ourselves getting technologically advanced. Mm-hmm. What do you see as the likelihood of what that's going to cause?
Well, I think there's going to be kind of like almost like a gap. I think for a lot of people it's going to be really easy to be very uneducated. I think it's going to be very easy to go around life not knowing anything because everything's at your fingertips. If I just do a Google search on my phone, I can find out how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon, you know?
How many?
Like, I don't know.
3.
3?
Yeah.
No, I was not gonna guess that.
You're obviously not a cook.
I'm not a baker either. So I think that because, and it's great that we have that ability that like if I'm stuck and I have this question I need answered, I can get it answered without having to actually talk to anybody. In a way, that's a good thing. But also, I think it's going to make us kind of get intellectually lazy, and we're just going to go for the easy answers all the time, rather than whereas, 25 years ago, you'd have to spend a lot more time memorizing things. I used to memorize phone numbers when I was a kid. I probably just knew 25 different phone numbers, just because that's the only way I could communicate if I wasn't at home with a phone book or something. And now I know my wife's phone number. I remember probably a handful of those ones from when I was a kid, but not nearly do I like spend as much time memorizing things. Right. Because I have them all in my contacts list, and even if I lose my phone, the contact list is saved to the cloud. And like these technological advancements are great, but they're not necessarily initiating me to become a more intellectual or educated person.
Right. I think that
like they could.
You've pointed out a good point, and that is what we have is enormous and unprecedented access to information. Right? Information is there. And it's very, very easy to acquire. Mm-hmm. Now, that can be a good thing or a bad thing. It can be a great thing if you're doing a research project and instead of having to go and get a bunch of interlibrary loan books and do all this stuff, you can actually go online. I mean, I've gone online and needed a research item and been able to buy that book on, say, Kindle immediately and have it and be researching and go and not have to skip a step from the work I was doing. That's great. At the same time, because there's such a low cost to the information, there tends to be a low value for the. So if you didn't grow up already valuing information and it's always been free and easy and cheap and you get it and you use it for what you need it for and that's what it's worth. Mm-hmm. For instance, we can get a YouTube video that can show us how to do anything, right? We can learn how to do anything from building a car from scratch to playing the piano like a concert pianist to speaking Spanish to whatever on YouTube. And it's just right there. It's anytime. It's instantly accessible. And so It's good and it's bad. It's good in the sense that we have the information. It's bad in the sense that with the low barrier to entry often is going to put a low value. I'm concerned that, obviously, the thing that I see happening is as we get that, it has somehow, somewhere there's a correlation between having those things happen and people's desire and care for the serious, important, the truly valuable things of the world just gets lower and lower and lower as we kind of entertain ourselves to death.
Right.
Because we can watch The Office for the 15th time, you know, through whatever, however many seasons it has or whatever, instead of what we would have had to do back in the day, which was grab a book and you know, read it.
Right.
You don't have to do that anymore. And so all the access, because it used to be what was on television was on television. If you didn't like what was there was nothing to watch then, so you went and read a book, right? It was nighttime, what else are you gonna do? Or you talked, or you told stories, or you did whatever. Played a game, connected with your family. All of those things are getting less and less and less. They're valued less and less and less. Everything is cheap. Everything is easy. Sex is cheap. You just get online and do what you're gonna do. And you can, you know, even schooling is at some level cheap. What happens then is that people, what I've seen is they become more and more and more and more apathetic about anything beyond serving the needs that they so easily can serve. And then it's really hard to get them to care because they've sort of been lulled in, like zombie-like lulled into a life that is super, super easy because of technology. And therefore, the life itself becomes less valued.
Right.
And so I don't know, of course, I see all this as part of the end times. I believe the Lord is coming back. I'm praying and hoping that he's coming back very soon. And I think this is a clear sign. Knowledge will increase, the scriptures say. We know that part is a clear sign of the end times. But I also think that the dullness of our hearts, the apathy that we're seeing, is also a sign. And so in a time when people go through things like what we're going through now, and of course everyone's got their thoughts on that and so on, but whatever you want to say about it, it's certainly a tragedy. And so, you know, people, maybe it's just this moment where people might just shake out of apathy a little bit and might be tired of Netflix. When we, you know, when we all, and maybe like be really starving for that personal thing, and maybe we get a reignition for some people and kind of get back into to really seeing the Word of God get somewhere because people are open to it because the relationships that they can have. So I just think as believers, we need to see these things very clearly, recognize the cause of them. Ultimately, Satan is at work in the world trying to destroy us. He hates us. And so we've got to see that letting ourselves be lulled into that place is going to dumb us down. And I don't mean intellect-wise. I mean in the importance that we put on the things that are actually important.
Right.
And so I think that we as believers need to just be ready. I want to just be ready as a church. I want to be ready as Christ Church, that as we get back into society, and we're starting to do that now, and more places are opening up, and I think they'll continue to open it up faster and faster to where we get back to what looks like the life that we kind of had before, although it won't look like that, because there's this desperate longing that we have as human beings to be with one another, and that's going to be very strong, at least for a time, before everything just goes back to bleh. And we need to take advantage of that as believers and help people to see their value and think about the important things and go through that process. And maybe we see some revival.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do. Okay, one more thing that we'll do before our Babylon B articles. Let me see if there's any comments that I want to read out here. Dr. David says, knowledge is not the same as understanding and wisdom. Yeah, precisely.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of practical knowledge that is very surface level and just enough to, you know, make an economic impact on our lives, and not anything that's deep, not anything that's going to take, because there are things that you can't, even with all the technology in the world, you just can't understand them in a day.
Right, and I exempt, by the way, the church who's coming in trying to learn the scriptures and going to life group and trying to learn the scriptures and hanging out with you. I'm not talking about the church. I'm talking about the world out there. And absolutely, their access to knowledge has done, his point is well taken, because their access to knowledge has not led to further understanding and wisdom. It's done the opposite. Right. Having cheap, easy access to knowledge has actually decreased wisdom and understanding. It's kind of like you don't leave. So if somebody comes to me as an attorney and says, I got $10 million. I got a kid, and he's 16, you know, and if I pass away, I want it all to go to him, so that if you passed away tomorrow, your 16-year-old kid would have $10 million. Well, Scripture's pretty clear on what happens when an inheritance is gained young, right? You don't give a young kid a lot of money because they don't even know what to do with it. You don't give them something that comes to them cheaply before they can value what it is. And what we've done is we've made knowledge very cheap, and so it's not become valued, and no understanding of wisdom comes with it. And so that's where we are. And our job as a church, as the body of Christ, one of the jobs that we have in bringing the gospel and the good news of salvation is to bring the idea that there's understanding to be had with this knowledge that you have access to. Right. There's more than just what this piece of knowledge will get you. It's more than just the next life hack, right, that exists out there. And so, yeah, we'll get there. Okay. Next one, Babylon Bee. So if you guys don't know the Babylon Bee, it's a satire site, okay? It's all satire. Please don't go on the Babylon Bee and think they're being serious about anything they're saying. They're not. They make fun of everybody. Mostly Christian. So, it's mostly Christian stuff, political stuff. So they make fun of all the political parties and all the political people, all the different, Christian groups out there and whatever who have this or that. They make fun of everybody. And a lot of times it's pretty funny. And so I grabbed 5 of their, just the headlines, right? And I'm not going to read the whole article. So just headlines, because the articles are basically, the headline is what's most funny usually.
It's the punchline.
The headline is usually the punchline, right? So I'm going to read 5 of them to you, and we're going to rate them based on how funny we think they are.
Okay.
All right, so the first one is this. Kind-hearted children let mom sleep in until 7 a.m. on Mother's Day. That's a good one.
That's good.
Right?
Timely.
For you, that's a timely one, because your baby probably doesn't let you sleep in at all on any day.
Sort of. It's just kind of a game of, okay, she woke me up at 7. Do I feed her, then put her back down, and then go to sleep for another 2 hours, which by the time I get back to sleep, it'd be 8, and then it'd be sleeping until 10. Do I want to sleep until 10? It's kind of that game.
Yes, you do.
Sometimes I do.
What I would recommend is that when you do feed her and so on, and she spits up on you, that you change your shirt. Okay. That's one. Kind-hearted children let mom sleep until 7 a.m. on Mother's Day. And you guys can vote for which one you like the best too. Next one is this. Supreme Court overturns the Star Wars sequel trilogy. So it's basically saying this new latest set of movies.
Wait, read it again.
Supreme Court overturns the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Oh, okay.
So basically, the Supreme Court just said it's out. It doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous. It should never have been made. Try again, Disney. That's their thing. I see. I do think that that's funny. I am somewhat inclined to think that that's true. And it's not that I didn't enjoy the movies as movies. I enjoyed them, but whether they were like a Star Wars thing versus kind of
better.
I think Star Wars probably deserved better. And of course it's hard with something like that, right? Because people are so into it.
Right.
They have a hard time, you can't make any changes to it without somebody, some fanboy freaking out.
And it's not like there's not a already written canon for you to, like with Tolkien movies, like, well, we have the books already.
Well, that's the problem. There's like a bunch of Star Wars books, like novels.
Right.
And some of them are canon and some of them are not canon. And there's like comic books, and then there's like the Christmas special from the 80s. There's all this stuff. So if they're like fanboys, they know what's canon and what's not, and whether or not Rey could have really been the daughter of blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Just start over.
Oh, you didn't spoil anything.
Yeah. Start over. Okay, next one. Netflix to automatically turn on subtitles when you turn 32. You're not going to get this one as much because you're young.
But I watch with subtitles a lot of time.
I'm telling you, the older you get, the more it's just like, I can't hear what they're saying.
I will purposely turn the volume down, and then I'll just like be able to hear enough for context, but then I want to like see the words so that
Just wait until your daughter is running around, screaming and throwing toys.
Well, I can't hear when she screams.
With your wife, and you will...
My wife will try to talk to me while she's like screaming, and I'm like, you could have said anything, and I have no idea. Nothing got to my ears. So
yeah,
I'm already kind of there.
Yeah, it'll be worse. You get to a point where either it's the kid. At some age, it's the kids are everywhere and whatever. Sometimes you're just like, Tiffany's sleeping, and I don't want to have it up super loud and wake her up because I don't want her to hurt me. And so the subtitles need to be on. But sometimes we're just watching it. Everybody else can hear it fine, and I'm just like, what? Turn it up. I can't hear the people. Or they have like really strong accent. And I can't make out what they're... It's like sometimes in a British show, and we watch a lot of British stuff, I can't tell what they're saying.
What?
And yeah, there's just times where it's just not, or they're saying something I don't get it. Anyway, it happens.
Like Australia.
So that was Netflix to automatically turn on subtitles when you turn 32. Next one is tragedy. Pastor just preached best sermon of his life and forgot to hit record.
We've been there.
Yes, this is
This is no joke.
This is right going to hit close to home. Obviously, as we're recording sermons, and if you don't record them, they aren't there. It didn't happen. If a tree falls if a pastor preaches in the pulpit and there's no one there to hear him, did he really preach? And so, yeah, that would be horrible. I don't even like that one.
It would be, hypothetically speaking.
It would be.
If that had ever happened.
If anything like that had ever happened, that'd be horrible. It hasn't happened. We haven't preached a whole sermon without hitting record. Okay, last one is, it's okay to cry, says pathetic excuse for a man. And this one, the article is actually funnier than the headline, and it just kind of goes through just making fun of the idea that men can't ever cry and so on, and that kind of that masculinity thing. Pretty funny stuff. Okay, so those are the 5. Which one did you like the best?
The masculinity one.
The it's okay to cry says pathetic excuse for a man.
Yeah, but I also read the article on that one, so I kind of have a little more.
I like that
to
one
it.
the best too.
Yeah.
Because the article was actually really good, and they didn't get to see the article, so it's kind of unfair. But you guys can go read it. It's on the Babylon Bee. I would put after that probably the kind-hearted children let mom sleep in until 7 a.m. on Mother's Day, because that's just going to be reality. You're going to be like, shh, be quiet, on like Mother's Day or her birthday or whatever. They're going to be loud. They're just going to be loud. It's just going to happen. My kids are older now, and so I'm not saying they're not loud, but they don't wake up at 7 a.m. Yeah, because, they're kids. And then I would probably do the Netflix one, because that rings true for me. And then the Star Wars trilogy, and then the pastor preached the sermon of his life, forgot to hit record.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I do it.
Actually, I put the pastor forgot to, because it's
A little higher, because it hits close to home.
it's so close to home.
All right. Okay, it's trivia time. You all know how this works. We should have a song for this.
We should have it. I was going to improv one right now. But
time. Okay. Did you like that? Just give a thumbs up if you loved that. All right. Here we go. Trivia. Here's how it works. I'm going to ask you the question. You must write out the answer. Do not say A, B, C, or D, or 1, 2, 3, or 4, anything
took off
like
all the
that.
letters.
Yeah, there's no letters on it that you're going to see on the screen anyway. You have to write out the answer. The first person who I see it hit the comments, and I have all the comments here in front of me. The first person that gets the right answer gets a point. You have a way to keep track of points?
I should.
Like notes or something? Pen? Anyway, I'll let him figure that out. The first person to get it right, who gets it in and gets it right, gets a point. The person with the most points at the end gets one of these. Let's get close up on this, Tiffo.
You can't.
The other angle.
Oh, okay. I was like, she's not.
This
controlling
Acts, there we
the
go.
camera.
There it is. Acts Church. These are the new mugs. Likey? I likey. Okay. I don't know if the lights are in the way. Anyway, that's what you
How
get.
many cups of coffee have you drank out of that mug?
I
so
have
far?
not drunk any out of this particular mug.
Oh, because you haven't washed it yet.
No. Not that would matter. Okay, so you're going to get a mug. If 2 people win, I'll give them both mugs. If 3 or more win, we're going to do a draw off for who actually gets the mug.
right.
So, is everybody ready to start? I can't tell if you are because I can't see you. So, we're just going to start. Here we go. First question. What year was the last manned mission to the moon? What year was the last manned mission to the moon? Was it 1968, 1970, 1975, or 1972? 1968, 70, 75, or 72?
You watching the comments?
Well, I'm watching the comments, yeah. Are you not?
Well, yeah, because I'm running the slides and the.
Well, no one's gotten it right yet, so.
Ooh.
I've got some guesses, but I don't have any right answers.
Maybe you have the wrong answer.
Somebody, John
1776.
Robinson says 1776. It's a little off. Something happened that year. I can't remember what, but something. Some British thing. Still nobody's gotten it right. Oh, there it is. I got it. You see it?
Yep.
Okay.
I got it.
All right. Lori Arwood says never. Dun dun. Conspiracy. Tiffany sometimes tells me she wavers on that one too. It does seem like a far way to go. But then somebody told Buzz Aldrin that he didn't go to the moon and he punched him in the face. Do you ever see that YouTube video?
I did.
Yeah.
I
Look
mean,
that
it
one
wasn't just that simple. Like the guy was.
I know, but it was sweet.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to look up the video of Buzz Aldrin punching a guy who's bothering him in the
Not
face.
that we condone violence.
I don't condone. Well, I mean, if I went to the moon and somebody was like, "You didn't go to the moon, you're a liar," I might sock him in
But
the
it
face
wasn't
too.
just that. The guy was like chasing him down.
Yeah, he was.
Very aggressive.
Yeah,
so.
he's been a turd. Part of my French. Okay, next one. Number 2. How many states were in the U.S. in 1915? In 1915, how many states had entered the Union? Was it 13, 48, 50, or 43? How many states were in the Union in 1915? Oh, by the way, the answer to the last one was 1972.
See,
I didn't tell you that. It's 19. Oh, yeah, you did. You probably put it up there, right? In the
I did.
bold?
I threw
Okay,
it up
so you knew it was 1972.
It was
How many states? How many states? How many states? Don't see it yet. I see it.
oh,
I see it. Do you see it?
oh, yeah.
Okay. The answer is 48. 48 states.
John is just killing it.
What did John say? 57.
57.
Yes, the state of Hines. Hines 57. Okay, next one. Next one. How many names of the books of the Bible begin with the letter T? How many names of the books of the Bible begin with the letter T? Is it 3, 5, 7, or 9? 3, 5, 7, or 9? Hook me up. What's the answer? How many books of the Bible begin with the letter T? How many are there? I'll say it again. How many? How many? I've got it.
I already got
I
it.
see it. I see it. You can keep putting it in, but somebody's already gotten it. It is 5. Now, Hunter, can you name them?
Wait, does it count if it starts with first?
Yeah, it counts.
Okay. First and Second Thessalonians, First and Second Timothy, Titus.
Right, all in a row.
I was gonna say, are there really no?
They're all in a row. That's it. Those are
Okay.
the 5 books of the Bible that begin with letter T.
Okay. I believe you.
No, there is no book of Thomas or Thaddeus John Robinson, who's... Oh, good times. All right, next one. How many calories are in a McDonald's double bacon smokehouse burger?
Oh, I'm
How many calories are in a McDonald's double bacon smokehouse burger? Is it 1,130, 870, 714, or 516? How many calories are in a McDonald's double bacon smokehouse burger? I don't believe I've ever had one of these. I do see the right answer.
I do see it too.
I do see the right answer. And the answer is 1,130 calories.
So I'd only have to eat like 4 or 5 of those to get my daily.
Right.
caloric
For your
intake.
daily quota, if you're running 4 marathons, you could eat 2 of them.
I mean, in high school, I probably did eat about 5,000 calories a day.
Really?
I ate a lot.
You look it.
I legitimately ate like 2-foot-long Subway sandwiches.
Yeah, that's like 1,000 calories total.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, they're like 500 calories,
well,
600
maybe I'm
calories.
wrong.
You did not eat 5,000 calories a day.
I said per hour.
Per hour you ate that. Okay. Then, yeah, you might have gotten there. 1,130 calories is a lot of calories. For your recommended 2,000 calorie a day diet, you couldn't even have 2 of these in an entire day.
Right.
But I bet they're delicious. I just bet they are.
That's what
okay.
really matters.
And as John says, definitely not keto, for sure.
Definitely not.
Okay. Although if you took the buns off, they might be. I don't know. I do keto to take my buns off. Oh, come on.
All right, next question.
All right, next. All right, here we go. Little dad joke time. According to Google, which country first used paper money? According to Google. I just typed it into Google. You could try to do the same if you can do it fast enough. Greece, China, England, or Rome? Greece,
Might
China,
have thrown
England,
the
or
answer
Rome?
up there right away.
Oh, well, then somebody will get it quick.
I'm not sure why.
Here we go.
I clicked on that instead.
I don't know why you did either. I don't know why.
I looked away and I looked back.
But no
and-
one's answered it yet, so come on. Bring the answers. Is it Greece? Is it China? Is it England? Or is it Rome?
And they still haven't answered it right.
Nope.
Oh wait, I see one.
Where is it? You saw it?
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Okay. The answer is China.
China.
China was the first one with paper money, according to Google. So, whatever. Okay. Next question. You ready?
Yeah, I'm not gonna click on the answer. I'm gonna click on the question.
Okay, let's do that. How old was Abraham when he passed away? Was Abraham 102 years old, 117 years old, 151 years old, or 175 years old? How old was he when he passed away? Talking about Abraham, Old Testament styles with a Z. Abraham. I got it. I see it.
Yep.
I see it. Somebody got it quick. Somebody got it quick. The answer is 175 years old. Dude was old. 175 years old. All right. Here we go. You ready for the next one? You got the answer? You got the person in there?
Yes. Yeah.
What's
yeah.
the fastest hunter has run 1 mile? 5 minutes and 23 seconds, 5 minutes and 3 seconds, 4 minutes and 23 seconds, 4 minutes and 3 seconds. What's the fastest hunter has
Or
run
3
1
minutes and 30 seconds. We were
mile?
supposed to put that one.
Oh,
in
I
too.
didn't put that one in there. Yeah, I didn't put the world record in. 5:23, 5:03, 4:23, 4:03. Pick a time You're just going to have to guess unless you know Hunter really well or were following his cross-country career or something like that.
Most
you're just
people
gonna,
were,
I
right?
see it. I saw it.
I see it.
I saw it. You got it?
Yep.
The answer is 4 minutes and 23 seconds. 4 minutes and 23 seconds. I measure my mile time in days.
4
not in
hours and
minutes.
23 minutes.
Yeah, 4 hours and 23 minutes is my mile time. So John Robinson says 45 seconds.
That was my fastest driving mile.
Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know how fast you've driven. Not in that car. Not in the CRV, you ain't getting the mile.
That's what, like, that's 90 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Oh, I could drive 90.
Or down a hill in the
don't.
wind, maybe. Come on. We've seen that car. All right, here we go. I'm kidding. I'm sure you could. How many times did Pastor David fail a class in school? How many times did I, Pastor David, fail a class in school? Was it 0 times, once, 3 times, or more than 5? How many times did I fail a class in school?
I bet your parents know this one. Or maybe not. Maybe
I don't know if they do.
Maybe you're sneaky about it.
I don't know if they do. How many times did I fail a class in school? I see the answer.
Yep.
I see the answer. It is more than 5.
I like your aunt's answer.
It's more than 5. I would say possibly substantially more so. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look. I was not always acting as I should act. And as a result, I didn't get some classwork done that I was supposed to get done more than 5 times. All right. We'll just move on to the next one now that I've embarrassed my entire family. All right. What was Hunter's first real job? Was it at Subway, Safeway, Chick-fil-A, or as a youth worship leader? First real paying job, Subway, Safeway, Chick-fil-A, or youth worship leader? Where was Hunter's first real job? Subway, Safeway, Chick-fil-A, or youth worship leader? I'm not seeing it yet. Where is it? Where is it? I'm not seeing it yet. I must have written these out pretty good. I see it. I see it.
I wonder, did she know that, or is that just a good guess?
I have no idea. I don't know. I didn't know. I think you may have told me at some point, but, I don't listen. It's Chick-fil-A. Hunter worked at Chick-fil-A for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then he quit Chick-fil-A to work at Subway. I mean, if I had known that at the time you were trying to get hired, I would have been like, this guy's got no judgment.
The Subway was like across the street from my school.
You could have been saying my pleasure to everybody and guaranteed yourself some
I
days
worked in
off.
the back at Chick-fil-A, so I didn't even. I did say it was like the awkward my pleasure that I had to say as I held the door open for someone on my way out of work.
Yeah, my pleasure. People are like, that's weird. Why does this give you pleasure?
Right.
It's just a little weird, but I like it. I think they're nice folks over there at Chick-fil-A. Okay,
I'm glad for
here we go. Next one. In what chapter of the Bible does Jesus speak to the Samaritan woman at the well? Is it Matthew 8, Mark 11, Luke 5, or John 4? Matthew 8, Mark 11, Luke 5, or John 4. Woman at the well, Samaritan woman at the well. Which chapter of the Bible? Get him in there. Matthew 8, Mark 11, Luke 5, or John 4? Has anybody said it yet? Got to type it out. Let's see it. I see it.
Yeah, yep. Ooh.
I see it. Do we have a winner?
Oh, we do. We do.
We got a winner.
It was very close.
It's a close contest, but the mug, not this one, because this is probably dirty, we'll give you a somewhat clean one, although I would recommend washing it. Goes to
Rusty Arwood.
Rusty Arwood.
Unless he's like already been disqualified for some reason that I missed.
No, he has not been disqualified.
Okay.
I mean, from ministry. He's an elder at his church. He hasn't really been disqualified from ministry. I'm sure I got his wife to laugh over that, though. All right, that was the
Just one person out there laughing.
that was the trivia contest. Good job, Rusty Arwood, swooping in from the great state of Tennessee, Rocky Top, to win one of our mugs. Thank you. We're going to go on now, and we're going to take any questions that you all have, and you may not have any. Don't ask me which classes I failed, because first of all, I don't remember. Kind of the point. Second of all, I don't want to tell you. So, because even though I said I'd let you know everything,
Hey, he says
not letting you know which
he
ones.
says give his mug to someone else.
Did he really say
Should I
that?
give it to second place?
Yeah, give it to second place if he wants to give it away.
All right, that's Debbie Pulver then.
Debbie Pulver,
Congratulations.
Rusty Arwood has provided you with this fine mug. You're probably a better model than I am. Why don't you hold it?
I was a hand model. That was actually my real first job, but
With hand modeling? Good. Look at that. That was, come on, hold up there longer.
where's the focus? Focus is probably like right
Yeah,
here.
that's where it's at. Look at that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, he's on the move. That's going to be. Oh, you're gonna go in on it. You got it?
There we go.
Look at those hands. Do you moisturize? Nope. Well, I'm surprised because I really did look good. Okay. Back to reality. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in. While I'm waiting for those, if you have any, I'm going to give Hunter a few of these things that we do sometimes when we're killing time waiting for questions. That is the either ors. Either ors. Either ors. Ready?
Yeah, here we go.
Text message or call?
It depends. I guess.
Have we done this one before?
No, not this question.
Okay.
No. But I just feel like my answer is always, it depends. Text message.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, you're
Yeah.
going to text message more often than you're going to call,
Right.
right? I mean, because you can relay small bits of information that you wouldn't want to do a whole phone call for.
Right. At least it's more often useful to me.
I was against it at the beginning. I didn't like text messages, but I was like, that's rude.
Right.
You should just call. But
now
now I text people. That's just way easier. Okay. Library or museum? You got to go to one.
Museum.
Museum.
Because I mean, libraries are cool and all, but a museum is like what libraries are written about.
What if the museum is a museum of like knick-knack miniatures and the library is the Library of Congress?
I guess then the Library of Congress.
Yeah. Come on. All right. Next one. Would you rather go to a play or a movie? To a theater or to the cinema? Which one?
I haven't gotten to a lot of plays, but I'm always surprised by how much I enjoy them. But they take a little more out of me, you know? Like cinema's kind of more like sit back, whereas play I kind of feel like I'm involved.
A play is definitely. I mean, you're connecting with real people on a stage. I mean,
Right.
it's designed to create this catharsis. If you've read your Aristotle, and which you haven't probably,
lot.
but it's designed to do that. And so, yeah, there's going to be more of that in a live theater production, especially a really good live theater production, which surprisingly, most are pretty good. Even like high school
know,
plays,
yeah.
they're mostly pretty good.
Yeah.
But obviously real plays, and of course, going on to a Broadway play or something like that, Tiffany and I were blessed with being able to see Phantom of the Opera recently, and it was, it was something.
Yeah. I
was
know.
worth
like
doing.
my grandma used to do little productions in her tiny town of Dayton, Washington, and so my family would always go to those. And I was like, all right, gonna go to Grandma's little play at little tiny town theater, and I was always very surprised and entertained by them. So, yeah.
Did you ever do little plays with your brother for your parents?
No,
Puppet shows?
no. I did plays like in church. I
You're
did
boring.
those.
You're boring. All right, let's move on. Phone or computer? How would
Computer.
you- okay, so if you're generally if you have a phone and you have a computer, let's say you're sitting in bed, your laptop's on your nightstand and your phone's on your nightstand, and you want to read an article, you're going to pick up the laptop and
Well,
go.
if I'm in bed, my phone,
Okay.
because I'm laying down.
Okay, you're sitting at the dinner table and you're done with dinner, but you're just sitting there hanging out. And you got your computer, it's over here, it's closed.
If I'm interacting
you got your
with people-
phone and you're going to read an article. Which one are you going to do? You're going to open this up and read it here, or are you going to just pull it up on your phone?
My phone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think
clearly
I'm
it's different uses,
phone.
but-
I think I'm phone more than I'm only computer when I'm working. When I'm working.
Yeah, I'm working a lot.
Pastor Dave says, "Who was your favorite dad?" Probably I would have to say, did Indiana Jones have a kid? He had ended up having a kid in the fourth one, didn't he? So Indiana Jones. Oh, you mean my favorite dad of my dad's? Well, my dad. That's my favorite by far. Okay, a couple more of these. Piercings or tattoos? Which one are you going to get? You got to get one. What's it going to be?
Tattoo.
And it's going to be visible.
Tattoo.
Okay, you're getting a tattoo.
Yeah.
All right. Bagels or toast?
Bagels?
Have you ever had a real New York City bagel?
No.
Okay.
But I hear there's something about the water.
That's what they say. No idea if that's true, but that is what they say. Swim in a pool or in the ocean?
Well, the ocean's fun.
You're at a
But-
hotel in Hawaii, so you can be at the resort and go in the pool,
Oh, I've-
or you can go out and go in the ocean.
So I've been to Hawaii 3 times. And I've always stayed very
Whatever,
similar.
1%er.
I've paid for half of one of
Don't
those
try to
trips.
justify it now. We're obviously paying you too much. Any elders watching, we'll talk
right,
about this
right.
later. No. Go ahead.
And I think out of all 3 of those trips, which were both about a week long, I think I spent 1 hour in the pool. So
I've been to Hawaii once because I was greatly subsidized by some good friends of ours who are watching, and I didn't go to the pool once because the ocean was there.
Yeah.
So come on.
And I mean, I was on Oahu for most of my trips.
Bless you.
Yeah, Oahu. And the beaches right there, like on Waikiki, aren't quite as nice as probably what you experienced on Maui.
Right. I've never been to Waikiki.
Yeah, it's a little there's a little more coarse and crowded, but
I like the ocean.
still nice.
All right.
I'm not gonna dog it.
But I did have a pool when we were in Tennessee, and I loved the pool. So next
nice.
one, watch sports or play sports. That's obvious, right? Play sports, right?
Wait, say
Watch sports or play sports.
play sports.
Yeah, play sports.
Well, I mean, it depends, but yeah.
Online shopping or in-person shopping?
In person.
I'd definitely online these days. It's just the time, just the amount of time it takes. It's
Right.
purely a time issue.
But like
for
if
me.
I'm like, I guess it depends. If I am going to get something important, now obviously like getting important things like a computer or like tech equipment, well, you can't find it in the stores really.
Right.
And you don't really need to like have a tangible hold on it. But some things I really want to like.
I like the experience of going to the store and like seeing the thing I'm going to get, and like especially like clothes or something.
Right.
You want to try them on because
I'm very hesitant. To
I
do
like my
online
stuff to fit
clothes.
very tight, and so I want to make sure that it's going to do that. 2 more: writing poetry or reading poetry.
Writing.
Okay.
I'm more of a maker than a taker.
Is that your pickup line with your wife? All right.
I don't know what that would
I don't either. Let's just leave that one there. I would go with reading poetry. I'm not a particularly good poetry writer. I can write prose, but poetry is not. I'm not good at it.
I
So.
think I was like way above. Like I have a book of poetry that I wrote in 7th grade, and I still go back and I like read it. I'm like, I was good. What happened to me? Because I like wrote some good poetry in 7th grade, and then like I think it was just a big unit that we had, and I got really into it, and I have not written a
That's
poem
another one out there.
since.
Brag much, by the way? At all?
No, it's gone. It's gone now. Whatever
That's
ability I
great,
had.
man. You should bring that in. We'll read it on the air. Next Axcast, Hunter's 7th grade poetry book. I'll pick my favorites.
For a 7th grader, it was good. Let's say that.
Yeah, that's I would, of course. That's what I was saying. What are you now?
An 8th
Ninth?
grader.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Scooby-Doo or Tom and Jerry?
Scooby.
Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
I like Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, they're great.
Scooby-Doo's, it's played out. It's the same thing over and over.
Well-
hey, look, this is who really did it.
Yeah, Tom and Jerry is
we
coming
knew
with
that.
all sorts of fresh stuff.
Tom and Jerry is just, it's classic. It's always going to be classic.
Okay.
You got a cat trying to murder a mouse. Just violence. That's it. Just violence,
Right,
mostly.
right.
You know, clever violence. Okay.
Clever.
I don't see any questions. I hope you guys had fun and got to hang out with each other and get to talk. And that's what we do this for, is for us to get together. I enjoyed reading your comments. You know, we're going to see you on Sunday, Lord willing, for service, and then for the tracks, for the 4 tracks. I hope you've been doing those. If you didn't get to see this last week's service, some of you may not have. You were talking with your mom on the phone or hanging out with her or whatever, or Mother's Day, or you were with your kids. Go back and watch that service, and then go through the tracks for this week so that you can kind of stay up with it. We love you. We care about you. We want to see you very badly, and I know we will soon. And so let's pray, and then we'll get out of here. Father, we thank you for being so good to us, Lord. We thank you for the church, the people that are working to love each other, that are working to trust you in this time. Just the difficulty of just being separated and all that comes with that. We thank you for all the work that the people in the church do for your kingdom, and we thank you for your grace. We thank you that it's not our works, but your grace, and that it's by faith through, by grace through faith that we're saved. And Lord, we just ask that you'd be with the church as we move forward. I thank you for Hunter and for Tiffany working all the cameras and doing all the work that it takes to do this and do the service earlier this evening. We thank you that we got to have that elders meeting and get to do communion that we could then do with everybody together. That was a blessing, Lord. We just thank you for all that you do, all the good things. Help us to focus on those, to get that Philippians 4:8 mindset, whatever is pure, whatever is holy, whatever is praiseworthy and excellent, Lord. Those are the things we want to think about. let us do that. Be with us this week. And be with us as we move towards the weekend on Sunday. In your name, amen. All right. We will see you next time on the AxeCast.